Yeah. Ay. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing. The king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them. A press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon. The demon, the session, we killing the pack. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing. The king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them. A press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon. The demon, the session, we killing the pack. We slaying witches and demons, making a list like I'm Steven. This ain't the Garden of Eden. Playing this game, it's not even. I come with soldiers and legions. That is my name that you speaking. All of y'all live for the weekend. I don't know what you believe in. Y'all got the diamonds and I got the rubies. She rocking the two-piece and look like a snack. Stay out of trouble, but I got a new scheme. I'm sipping on wine while they sipping on that. I done told y'all if I see it, I cop it. You see what we rocking, we dripping all black. You being off, you seen this deposit. We brought a few bags and there's more in the back. I got riches storing up in heaven. I'm a big gorilla, I got ape aggression. Young and jaded like an adolescent. I'm slightly faded like an evanescent. Brand new villa up on the East Coast. You better come through because we stay progressing. If you roll with us, you better unpack before God teaches you an eternal lesson. Roll with me, you're gonna learn something. Roll with me, you're gonna earn some. We in the forest like we Fern Gully. If it's filling off, I discern some. Clean hearts, but we stay muddy. Too smart, but we stay study. Staying face, cause we too ugly. All these jokers think they too funny. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing. The king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them. A press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon. The demon, the session, we killing the pack. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move,
all right, welcome everyone to the Sunday Funday Q&Anus. We are about to get started. Here we go. 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 Everybody loves to make some sick fucking guys.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling.
Oh, you don't say.
Welcome to the Daily
okay.
Swole.
All right. Testing. Testing, testicles, testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1087 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and as a slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Welcome to the Sunday Funday Q&Anus. That's right, we are taking some Q and we're taking some A, and it is the big day of the battle for Winterfell. If you are a Game of Thrones fan, it's super exciting times. Super exciting times. Anyway, that's coming up tonight. I hope you enjoyed the new meme today on Instagram and on Facebook. It was posted. It was so, and it is the truth. He's going to have to come through Papa Swolio. He's going to have to come through old Papa Swolio to make shit happen. So I'm on the watch. Don't worry. I'm taking care of shit tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. And of course, banging your ear holes with the knowledge cock over on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, everywhere you like to follow old Papi Swolio. I hope you had a great workout today. If you worked out, what'd you pump? This is an open Q&A. So what we've been doing is taking just live questions, just kind of mashing on a Sunday. So if you're new to the podcast and you're just getting your alerts and you're just coming in, every Sunday we do a Sunday Funday Q&Anus. And of course, now it's the season of the Game of Thrones, the last season. So we kind of talk about that shit. We talk about whatever. It's kind of fun. We do whatever we want on a Sunday. So if you have questions, now is the time to ask them. You can pile them up, and we will get to as many as we can in the next time period that we have here. This era of gains. Today's episode, we'll go through and we'll talk about what you want to talk about. A brand new YouTube. I'll just give you guys some updates on things that you might not be aware of until we start getting some questions rolling in. Brand new YouTube drop over on my YouTube channel. That was a good one today. That was some nuts on chin. So if you didn't get my nuts on your chin today, you might want to go over there and check that out, because put them on there large. And we'll have another episode. I believe it's going to be an Ask Papa Swolio coming tomorrow. So been dropping videos every single day over there. Some other housekeeping tasks. Tomorrow is a accountability meeting for those of you that are Swolenormous X members. So I will see you in there. It's tomorrow, Monday at 12 noon Eastern time. But of course, it'll stay on the timeline in the private Facebook group. If you can't catch it live, that's cool. It'll be there, but I'll give you some updates, some new sections releasing, some new content is coming this week and will be released tomorrow. And I'll explain the details about that. So exciting things. And of course, we'll have some more masterclass action this week, and you'll get more updates on that tomorrow. So I still got some coffee. I got some evening. I got like the evening coffee going down right now. Oh, is that not delicious? Greetings from Cancun. Greetings from South Florida. Greetings from where we got. What's up, Kim, Swish, Karen, Juju? What up over there on Facebook? Let's see here. Audrey Sciortino. What are some good ab exercises that also strengthen the back? That's not how ab exercises work. You have different muscles. They're both, the core is what you want to strengthen. Having a six pack is pretty much superficial. It's like having biceps. You don't need shredded and big bulging biceps to be strong and to be healthy. When it comes to core strength, it comes from the hips and it comes from the internal muscles in the core. So doing things like planks, doing things like hip bridges and glute activation will be good for your lower back. You don't really strengthen your lower back per se. You strengthen the muscles that attach onto the connective tissue around your lower back. The reason why you can reach back there and you just feel like fucking spine, it's because you don't have a lot of stuff to strengthen over there. It's connective tissue that muscles and tendons insert onto. Tendons attach muscles to bone and to other connective tissue. So you have a lot of these muscles like the lats, you have muscles like the glutes, you have muscles like the quadratus lumborum that are all back in that area, and there's that lumbar fascial tissue. That's why it's kind of like thin and superficial. That's where you get that Christmas tree look when someone flexes and is really lean. You see that kind of Christmas tree zigzag where the lats attach onto that lumbar fascial tissue. So it's thoracolumbar tissue. So it's an interesting area, but a lot of what happens back there that you want to strengthen is actually when that lumbar region is out of alignment, is in too much of a lordotic curve. You have too much extension back there, and that usually comes from the hips. It comes from the glutes not being activated. It comes from the hip flexors being really tight. So there's a lot of strengthening that's important. So I would recommend doing core activation, stabilization exercises, glute exercises, and exercises like vacuums, drawing in maneuver, doing things like that with the plank, sucking the stomach in, bracing techniques. When you're working the six pack, you're actually working on flexing the spine. You're working on contracting. Those stabilizer muscles inside is what will help support the lower back. How do you break MADS quick? How do you break through a plateau? Any number of things. Plateaus can happen for different reasons. Plateaus might occur because you're training too much. So it might actually be deloading and taking some time off and recovering. You could be overtraining. You could be not eating properly. You could be not adding enough variety to your training. You could be not pushing yourself hard enough in the gym. That's a very vague question. What kind of plateau? A psychological plateau, a physical plateau, endurance, one specific lift. So that needs a lot of context to be answered. Usually a plateau is a psychological thing. It's real. However, how you perceive the plateau is much more important, because that's going to determine how much effort you put into making a change and investing in your fitness. Andrea Aesthetica. I worked out each leg separately and did equal reps, but one leg is more sore. Parentheses, the leg that worked harder. Well, how do you know that worked harder? You just might be sore because maybe that leg was weaker. Should I just stop at failure even if it's a different number? That's kind of a confusing question. You mean one leg got sore and you have different strengths in different legs? You want to create as much balance as you can. So yoga will help alongside that. Yoga and doing isolation and more focus on a weaker leg if you actually have a weaker leg, because sometimes the coordination is off because your alignment's off and your posture's off. Matthew over on Facebook. Question: if you view your YouTube videos, so we like it or not to have better rankings, or is viewing it just good enough? Oh, what does that mean? If you view your YouTube videos, so we like it or not to have better rankings? Oh, I don't think you mean, is it better to hit the thumbs up button than just viewing it? It all helps, but I don't know if, like, I've heard that thumbs up and thumbs down on videos don't really do anything with the algorithm. It's just feedback. So I don't think that matters technically. I don't think it tells YouTube that this video, people like it more. I don't think. I've heard that it doesn't, but it lets me know that you like it. So that's the only way I know. The only way I know if you like a video anywhere is if you like it or you comment. That's the only way I know you like it. If you just view it, cool. I mean, the more people that view it, chances are it's because more people are sharing it and tagging and stuff like that. But that's great for me because I know what you like more. If you drop a comment and you say, I love these videos, I read those things, by the way. I don't get to necessarily every single comment on YouTube all the time because there's a lot of comments on YouTube. There's a lot of comments everywhere, but I read as many as I can because I like to get that feedback. So if you love a certain style of video, you love something that I just posted, let me know. Put it in the comments, because then if I see that, cool, people are really enjoying this, I'll make more of them. And that's the feedback that I use it for. It's not like I'm trying to always hit a certain number. Usually that number does relate to whether or not I'm doing a good job, right? So that's just feedback for me. Just like, so if you never comment or never like it, maybe you love my stuff, but you never let me know, then I don't know. And the more you like and share and tag stuff on Instagram, that's why if you tag me or if you share and if you leave a review on iTunes, all those things do matter because other people see that and they may be more likely to check out the podcast. Or if you like it, it might recommend it to someone that you're friends with because, oh, you're friends and this person likes the Daily Swole podcast, maybe this person will like it. And then it helps grow the community. So anytime you share, tag, and support, like feedback, anytime you engage with my content, I really, really appreciate it because that's what I do it for, and that makes all the difference. The exact algorithms, I think those change so often, and no one really knows unless the people that are doing it, how much that actually factors in. It's probably so fucking complicated. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's really simple. But just think of how many videos. You have to create code that sifts through all that bullshit. That's crazy. Scott Glass, you've probably answered this a million times. So sorry if you have. I mean, depends. But BFR ban. There's a question I think that asks that coming out tomorrow. For those of us that are over 40, thoughts, I would not use a blood flow restriction band. I think that has much more risk, much more health risks, maybe clots and stuff like that. Who fucking knows? I wouldn't recommend that to someone who's 20. I don't think it's necessary. You don't need that. You don't need it. That's the difference. Is it going to help you? I don't know. Maybe in a scientific study, if you're measuring it very, very specifically on specific modalities. But if you're just using it and you think that you're going to use a blood flow restriction band to get more results, that's going to take me. It's not. It's not going to be something that takes you to that next fucking level that all of a sudden, whoa, my physique has changed so much. It's going to come down to more your other training, what you're doing with your regular training and your nutrition and those other aspects. People have been getting sick fucking gains before they started tying off their arms like heroin addicts. That's my opinion, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think that's a health risk. I think it's pretty sketch. And we have a bunch of nurses that follow the podcast, and they said that in the comments as well. It's like, you don't want to be building up pressure like that. Let's see here. Sharon on Facebook, any other recommendations outside of yoga for strengthening joints, wrists and ankles specifically? Yeah, stabilization exercises. I mean, that's what strengthens those stabilizer joint muscles around the joints in yoga anyway. Doing stuff that's single leg, changing your environment, like rotations, working in transverse planes. If you're doing exercises that are causing you to change direction in how you're moving, not just front to back and side to side, but you're actually working in that transverse plane, that horizontal plane with twisting and rotation. Most of the injuries that you're going to see come from twisting. it's not just bending forward, it's bending with a little bit of a twist, right? You pick something out, you bend to twist and pick up a pen or something, and you're reaching with your right hand, kind of crossing over to your left foot, and my lower back. And you just move really quickly without thinking, without making a conscious movement, and you're not used to that movement, that twisting. You can slip something or twist something or pull something. It's important to do that kind of rotational movement. So that's what I would recommend. Wrists and ankles specifically. You can do things like bands. You can do things like kettlebells. You can do wrist specific exercise. They have those little, the TheraBars and those gel twist bars that are great for avoiding and repairing and fixing tendonitis and balancing out the joints or the muscles in your forearm or that cross the elbow and the wrist. That's really important because we're typing, we're texting, we're locked in position. A lot of times you get that medial epicondylitis, that tendonitis on the inside of your elbow, and the outside you have the golfer's and tennis elbow. You've probably heard that before. Yo, Swole, calves won't grow. Any tips? Yeah, volume, frequency, and getting full range of motion up onto those tippy toes. Let me see Instagram. I'm trying to get the the brightness is low. Okay, let me get some questions over on IG. Let's see what's up. What up, IG? I'm a little behind on your podcast, but for a beginner, what is hypertrophy? Building muscle size. Matt T70, I concentrate on big compound lifts. I take your advice, squat, bench, deadlift, pull-ups, etc. But any advice about developing upper and inner chest? It's just continuing to lift your body. There's really no inner chest. It's just the fibers attached from the sternum and insert onto the inside of the humerus. So you can do reverse bench with a reverse grip. You can do chest dips. It's just hitting the same. The muscles there's no segmentation like that, but you can focus on different parts of the contraction. So that's one of those ways where you can create variety, but you don't have to change necessarily the exercise. A lot of people that do classic just bench work, they actually don't activate their chest enough because their hands are too close. They're getting more shoulders and more triceps. So if you go for usually a wider grip, you'll get more stretch in the pectoralis major and you'll get some more range on that. What will also help with chest development is balancing out the shoulder joint, making sure you're working your posterior rotator cuff, make sure you're hitting your middle and lower traps and your rhomboids, and you're bringing that back into alignment. Because if you are internally rotated and you have that upper crossed result and you're kind of like rounded in like a fruit roll up, what can tend to happen is you're not getting the full activation, and it will bias that stress on other assisting muscle groups for the bench press, like the deltoids and like the triceps. So, and if your joints aren't aligned properly, you can put yourself at greater risk of having an injury while you bench. Some things like pinch press are great, and I like doing some variations with pinch press on like inclines and stuff like that to get the full range. But if you look at a kinesiology book and you look at how the chest is and how the chest inserts onto the humerus, you can see the different angles and imagine the different angles that you can work to hit your chest. But keep doing the basics. Keep doing the basics. That usually is a great method. But the chest pulls the humerus towards the midline. So get that try to get those biceps touching with certain exercises like crossovers, and pec deck flies and pinch press are really great. Rita on Facebook, Papa, I consider as a person of knowledge. Thank you. I know things that I know. As far as you know, is it true that it is impossible to target fat? Yes, it's impossible. It's not something that you can do. By example, to only lose belly fat, no, you can't do that. Why are there so many videos telling you that you actually, that's a good question. That's the question. Why are there so many videos telling you that you can actually target body fat loss? Because people will tell you whatever they need to in order for you to buy their shit. That's what people that tell you that, they want you to give them money. If they say you can do that, they want something from you. They're not giving you information. They're taking your innocence and taking advantage of it. And that's kind of what I was talking about in today's YouTube video over on my YouTube channel at Swolenormous. That's what I was talking about today. It's bad. It's bad when people fucking play that game. Oliver, do you think not eating enough calories or good food can correlate with injuries? Yeah. Just like dehydration can correlate with injuries, for sure. If you're not getting good food, you're not getting the micronutrients, you're not getting the proper electrolytes, you're not getting the proper hydration. Sure. Lack of sleep can be a component of that too. Everything. There's also chance. You could do everything right and still get hurt. You can do everything right. You can't protect yourself from everything, of course. Is frying food an unhealthy way of preparing it? Yes. For all intents and purposes that I can think of, yes. And most fried foods are in vegetable oil, which is gross. And you don't want to burn your food. You don't want to crisp your food. That's not a good thing. So those of you that like to eat things like bacon, you want to get the highest quality bacon, but you don't want to fucking crisp it because it's not good for you. You don't want to burn your meat. You don't want it to get to that carcinogenic point. And there's certain ways that you can mitigate that even if you have your meat, and that would minimize the carcinogenics. There's different rubs and stuff you can put on meats and things like that, but you generally don't want to overcook it. It's good to have meat rare and medium rare, keep it light and tight. Air fryer, never used one. Those things are just a Google away. I'm not a cooking expert. I'm not a cooking expert in terms of I know what foods that I like and I know how to cook the foods, but in terms of all the different methods, sometimes there are so many different ways to prepare some of these foods, but generally the basics, you never want to really overcook anything. You never want to dry it out. You never want to burn it. And sometimes you might prep food a certain way and not like it. You might have an issue with hard-boiled eggs, and you might be fine with scrambled eggs. I don't know if any of you have that issue, but some of you might have issues with a certain type of preparation. And that's because of the actual chemical structure inside the food. It can change depending on how you cook it and what nutrients are there or what evaporated or different components. Sometimes certain proteins convert over more or are more bioavailable when they're raw or when they're boiled versus when they're scrambled or when they're opened or combined or they touch a certain. You might react better to something that's steamed rather than pan, stir fry or something like that. I've had experience with that too. Some people have issues with onions one way or the other, whether they're raw or sauteed. Same thing with mushrooms. Some people have issues one way or don't. And certain forms of cooking, like broccoli, when you chop them up, roasted, it's better. It releases more goodness. You get more nutrients, micronutrients, when you chop broccoli up and stuff like that. All right, what up, you boosh? What up, Daphne? Let's see. I want to work on glute. Christine Madrid 15. I want to work on glute hypertrophy, but I want to learn more about this. Okay. I don't think that's a question. If you have a question about it, feel free to drop it. My second favorite bearded dude. Second favorite? The first one better be your boyfriend or your husband. Otherwise, why am I number 2? Thoughts on Steve Ligg and his program? I don't know who that is. Coffee Bat. Never heard of that. Who, him, he. Finally caught you live. Sure, fuck yeah, you did. Nessa Mickey. Yoga position for lengthening, stretching the lower back. Nothing that I can fucking name you right now that you would understand that I'm explaining. There are a lot. Yoga. All yoga is lengthening and stretching and strengthening. And if you're doing stuff that's working with the hips, it's effective for your lower back. So I'm not going to sit here and just name things. You can Google those, but yoga is just great. Yoga is just great for your lower back. CL Tulk, what is the future of Swolenormous? We'll find out. Are you just staying on your current track, or do you have plans to diversify your content more? Always more content. I watch your content because you seem like a cool, funny dude. Thank you. My content is, Swolenormous is a media company that focuses on fitness, not the other way around. So that's why there's so much content. That's why there's comedy videos. That's why there's fitness videos. There's training content on Swolenormous X. That's why there's Ask Papa Swolio. That's why there's so much different content. It's because it's not just fitness. It's a lot of other things. So there will always be new things, and I will always be trying new things and putting out new things that I'm interested in, that I'm passionate about. And if people are into it, that's cool. If not, I only make content that I enjoy making. I don't do stuff that I don't want to do. I'm not going to make videos. I'll make videos the way that I like to make videos, and I'll keep on making videos the way I like to make them that you like to watch, if that makes sense. So I want to enjoy it. I'm not going to do stuff that I fucking hate. It's just not going to stick. It's not going to work well. Lana lifts. Okay, so when will you talk about how to lose body fat? Can you talk about it? Ask a question. How to lose body fat? Eat less food. Eat the right food and eat less food. Do an elimination diet. Start exercising. Let's go, people. Come on. If you're going to have a question, let's get a little bit more specific than that. How do you lose body fat? Come on. Fuck me. This is episode 1087. Listen to a couple. Hit play. Let's not get lazy here. Let's not get lazy with these questions. Ask me a question. How do you get in shape? Fuck that. Ask me a question. And I'm not making fun of anyone. I don't even know whoever asked that question. Just ask something more tactical. Give me a specific question. Give me something I can help you with. Matt Simonelli, have any input with turmeric? I believe it's a natural anti-inflammatory. I just got some kind of a turmeric supplement to try. It's one of those things where I think some people you have to be careful when it comes to supplements. Now, I'm not a big fan of the front-facing bodybuilding supplements, all those BCAAs. I like these individual ones. I like things that will help fix or improve deficiencies. So if you have a magnesium deficiency, supplementing with magnesium is probably a good idea, and you may see a lot of benefits from it. Things like turmeric, things like fish oil, those are things that I do like. Those are things I do like. Those are things I do like in terms of supplements. Now, it's still you have to get quality stuff. It's still, there's a lot of up in the air, who knows? You're not a scientist. You're not testing. It's just still Wild West. It really is. It really is. The laws are not strict on this shit, and there are a lot of loopholes. So I like the idea of supplementation as the true form of supplementation. It's really micronutrients. Like, where are you getting your micronutrients from? Are you getting enough of those? And are the supplements that you're consuming, are they actually absorbing? Are they delivering you what you actually need? Are you doing, and you'll really know that if you're doing blood work and you're testing, hey, I took this supplement and now I'm testing my blood, and I found it's hard to really judge all that. So placebo effects are really are really powerful when it comes to supplements. So I'll take one of those. I'll take some of that, but am I going to feel, wow, I feel great? If I think I feel great, if you're meditating regularly and you are having more control of your thoughts, you're going to feel better anyway. Is that the supplement, or is that you getting control of your mind? And I think it all factors in, but it's very hard to pick out, ooh, I started taking turmeric and I feel so much better. Do you feel better because you're taking turmeric, or do you feel better because you know you're taking turmeric, and turmeric is supposed to help you with joint inflammation and these types of things? You see what I'm saying? It's very hard to discern and decipher what signals your body gives. But at the same time, if you have less pain, that's good, period. So then that begs the question, does it matter if it's working or not? If you think it's working and you feel the benefits, maybe that's what's important. I mean, it'd be even better if it actually does work. But or I think, or maybe even better if you can control your mind and get a handle on that, and that's powerful. So that's probably that'd be actually a good thing. I've watched over 15 hours of her work. Whose work? Rita, I have another question on Facebook. If I lift some weight that is not challenging, and then I add another plate, but this time it's too heavy, what should I do? Keep the lighter weight or go hard even if it's too heavy? You can't go hard if it's too heavy, because if it's too heavy, that's the definition of too heavy. It's too much. So put on a smaller plate. How much are you adding? That's vague. I don't know what exercise you're talking about. I can't make recommendations if I don't know like the specifics, because it depends on the exercise. Some of them could be a high risk for you to train by yourself. If you just add on weight, it's too heavy and I'm benching, and you're benching alone, that's dangerous because you don't have a spotter. So you have to be careful with that. So I don't want to make a recommendation without having that information too. Jacob, when clean bulking, where should you focus the bulk of your foods? Carbs, fat, or protein, or eat as much clean food as I can? That depends on what your body reacts best to. Some people like and prefer a higher fat diet. Some people, everyone's a little bit different there. I would recommend not overdoing the carbohydrates. Personally, I don't do that anymore. You don't need as much protein as the bros will tell you. The classic bros, you don't need that 2 grams per pound of body weight bullshit. you probably need less. You need less than a gram per pound. It's lean mass, not your just overall body weight. So I personally like to bias my intake towards fat and protein more so than carbs. But you want to get in a lot of fiber, so you want to get in fibrous carbs, which aren't going to impact your blood sugar. So vegetables, for example, carbs. But my main carb is sweet potatoes. I'll have berries and some frozen fruits. I like that shit too. Sometimes some white rice. But I just find that sweet potatoes are far and beyond the best way that my body responds when I consume carbohydrates. I feel the best. That's how I got my slip disc. Turn up what volume? My volume? You can go watch it on Facebook or YouTube. I'm still heated at that Brandon Keto Queen Carter video. Yeah, that was bad shit. That was bad. I saw that post. I think someone brought it to my attention. I think someone brought the fact that he was promoting some 20 pounds in 2 weeks bullshit. And of course, if you know anything about keto, you know anything about dropping carbohydrates, when you cut carbs, you'll lose water weight because carbs and glucose and water, they attach, they bind. So you're going to flush out water when you cut carbohydrates. So it's very easy to lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds in 2 weeks because you're losing a ton of body weight, water weight, a ton. That's why a lot of people see initial progress fast with keto and then they plateau and they're like, it's not working anymore. Well, it is. You just don't endlessly dump water because your body needs water. It's important. How do I get bigger shoulders? Well, I would recommend working all parts of it. Focus on your posterior deltoid and your middle deltoid. Those are usually neglected. People just do presses all the time. So I would recommend doing a lot of things like wide grip pull-ups and doing cobras and posterior deltoid work. Get that 3D effect when you're working the posterior portion of the shoulder. Why do you live in Florida? Because I could be naked all year round and be comfortable. I feel strong and sexy when I watch a Swole video. Very good. I'm glad. When buying, not today fam, when buying 100% grass-fed beef, do you recommend getting the ones with a higher percent of fat or more lean? For me personally, if you're getting 100% grass-fed beef and it is truly 100% grass-fed beef, we have to take the word for it, right? We have to, unless we're getting it ourselves, I personally get the fattiest cut I can. That's what I do. Not necessarily what you should do, but that's what I do. Hey, Papa Swolio, off topic, but what do you think will happen in tonight's Game of Thrones episode? People are going to fucking die. That's for damn sure. People are going to die. People are going to die. What's interesting is you didn't see in the preview and in the end of the last episode, you didn't see the Night King. So we don't know where the fuck that dude is. He's on the dragon, but why wasn't he there in the final portion? Are we going to see him? Is the Night King actually going after Bran, or is he going to flip the script? The Night King knows what's up. He knows what he wants. He knows what he's trying to do. No one else does. So I feel like there's some kind of plan and there's something else afoot. There's something else afoot, but people are going to fucking die. Not sure who. Maybe Bran, maybe Jaime. I think Jaime is going to die saving, protecting Brienne or something. I don't know if this episode, but I'm excited for people to fucking die. Yeah. Spoilers. Not really. I'm just throwing shit out there. I'm trying even not to guess. Like, who cares? I just was waiting for it to happen. It's going to be cool. Holly, I take sulforaphane. Yeah, I eat broccoli sprouts and fish oil daily. I was referring to Rhonda Patrick, 15 hours of her work. Oh, yeah, I like her. I haven't listened to her stuff in a while, though. I haven't followed what she's been doing lately, but she's always on the forefront. She's a good girl. Smart as fuck, too. Speaking of rice, is brown rice actually bad for you? I personally hate it. It tastes like fucking shit. It's like eating sand. And I believe you get small traces of arsenic when in brown rice, but I just don't like how it digests. I just never liked the taste, never felt any benefit. If anything, I just feel heavy and it's gunk. White rice, I felt a lot better when I consume it, so sometimes I mix things up with white rice. Savannah Rogers, hey Papa, I'm a massage therapist and love to go to the gym. Lately, I have been struggling with gripping dumbbells. My forearms will ache and become very hypertonic. I do believe delayed onset muscle soreness is the culprit from work. When I go to the gym, I work at upper body. My forearms tend to give me trouble. Yeah, I would recommend working in the extensors. I would check out the TheraBar. You can get them on Amazon, and you'll work your extensors eccentrically, which is phenomenal for creating balance around the forearm. So if you're getting like medial epicondylitis, you're getting pain on the inside of your elbow or on the outside of your elbow, it's a great way to balance out the stress of those tiny muscles. You're always gripping and creating tension, but you're never doing it the opposite way. You're never working on the muscles that open the hand, that extend the wrist. You're always doing muscles that are flexing and causing a lot of tension. It's one-sided. It's repetitive movement strain from what you've told me. You saved me on dessert. Better than ice cream is frozen fruit in a bag. I fucking love frozen fruit. I love that shit. I get those big bags of organic blueberries, the frozen blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. I just put them in a bowl. I drizzle coconut oil and shave some dark chocolate and some cinnamon. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I don't need ice cream. That's what I want. It's so good. It's real food too. What do you use before you go to the gym? Any pre-workout, anything? I try to stay away from pre-workouts now. Coffee, espresso is great. Cold brew is great. More caffeine and less acidic, so it might not affect your stomach. Most pre-workouts are caffeine based anyway, and they put a lot of artificial flavors and stuff in them. If you want to make your own, you can do that. Which, if you're going to take a pre-workout for those active ingredients, whether you want to take citrulline, malate, and glutamine, and I'm telling you, they're not what they're cracked up to be. However, if you wanted to do that, buy them raw and at least take them raw without all the blue raspberry, sucralose, and aspartame and shit that they put in those pre-workouts. If you're going to do it, measure it out, make it yourself. That's my personal recommendation. Just because of all the other crap that they put in those pre-workouts. It's like candy. And raw, they taste like shit, which is why they put so much filler in. Joanne, you always say what you should do to be fit, your goals, what you want to do. I'm just reading. Oh, that's not a question. That's a statement. I don't think that's a question, Joanne. I'm late was planting my garden. Nice. What is a healthy body fat percentage? Depends on if you're a man or a woman and how old you are. But generally, it depends on your age. It depends on your age and your sex. But generally for females, I believe it's in the low 20s. What about dingleberries? I would avoid eating those if you can. Andre, same in white rice. What, arsenic? Yeah, that might be an old wives' tale, but I believe it's in brown rice. I'm telling you, when someone asks me white or brown, it's always white all day. Brown rice fucking sucks. Tastes like shit and has never done anything valuable for me. I've never felt good eating brown rice, ever. Maybe you fucking love it, but if I'm going to have rice, I'm going to have white rice with butter all over it. Ooh, and salt. Oh, I just can't read all that, Joanne. That's a paragraph. Try to get me a little bit more of a specific question. I'm just scanning it through because I'm getting a lot of comments on both platforms, on like 5 platforms. So I don't know exactly what the question is. What do I eat for breakfast? Coffee. Water first with my salt. Coffee. I usually don't eat breakfast. Or whatever I would normally eat. Maybe eggs and stuff. I don't consider foods breakfast or not breakfast. I just eat when I'm ready to eat. I usually don't eat food until later in the day. Like whole food. Lutzenbergs, I'm 33, coming down from 300 pounds, now at 200. Good for you. Medium to high level activity. My right shoulder is so tight. How do I warm up for my squats so I don't cry from shoulder pain? Yoga, posterior rotator cuff activation. You need to work on your range of motion. You need to work on your mobility in your shoulder. You got to work on the muscles in the back of your shoulder, middle and lower traps. Those muscles that will help allow the scapula to rotate up, and the muscles on the back of your shoulder that are deep, those posterior rotator cuff muscles that will help you with that external rotation. Thoracic spine mobility is important too. Why Celtic sea salt? It's been the highest mineral content for a long time. I don't believe there's a salt that has a higher available mineral content than Celtic sea salt. How do you feel about chicken? Is there any such thing as good chicken? There's always such thing as better. I mean, good, better, it's relative terms. You want to get the highest quality that you can. So if you can get something, chickens that are free to forage, that are actually brought up with decency and not just mass, smashed into small areas and overfed to fatten up so they can be slaughtered before they die from natural causes. Like, you don't want sick animals. Bone broth is great in the morning too. It's getting hot down here, so I haven't been making a lot of bone broth, but I feel like I need to bring that back into my life. I think I'm going to have some today, so thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. TRX, what about TRX? What about it? TRX, that's not a question. What do I think about it? It's a tool. Depends on what you're trying to do. If you're traveling, it's great. It can provide you with certain exercises, certain benefits. Grass-fed chicken. Yeah, I agree with that one, Mike. For the shoulder issues, the floor cobras are fantastic. Little Tash 2, do I like lean ground beef or lean ground turkey? I don't like lean anything. I don't like lean meat. That's why I don't really like chicken too much. If I have ground beef, I'm eating like probably 45% fat in my ground beef. Are you a fan of intermittent fasting? I'm a fan of you pursuing your nutrition lifestyle based on the best foods for your body, and your eating habits are of no concern to me. However, you can be consistent and get great results. If you're eating the right foods, then you're going to have a better relationship with food. You're going to manage your caloric intake better. And however you decide to eat during the day, you got to find what works best for you. I'm a fan of you getting in touch with your body more. I'm a fan of you touching your body. You hear that, everyone? I'm a fan of you learning and adjusting and focusing on the quality of your foods before you worry about fasting, before you worry about measuring calories. You got to look at what you're eating, and then you can worry about the numbers. Then you can take out the fucking calculators if you want to. Chickens need to roam to eat bugs and scraps, for sure. That's why I laughed at grass-fed. Chickens don't eat grass, bruh. Do I eat bread? No, I don't. No, I don't. A lot of the foods that you might be eating, you might like to eat because you're used to eating them. You've just been eating them, and you have always eaten them. It doesn't mean that you need to keep on eating them, or you need to eat them in order to get amazing results. So you have to make sure you're not confusing those two things. Do you need to eat bread to get results? No, you don't. You're just used to eating bread. Would you feel better and get better performance and get better results by cutting it out? You certainly might. The only way you know the answer to that is by fucking cutting it out. I don't miss it. I absolutely do not miss it at all. Is burning fat for fuel as opposed to glucose healthy long term? You're always burning both. Your body's always going back and forth. If you're talking about ketosis long term, I think there's some debate over whether it's a long term healthy thing to do. But a lot of people have amazing success with keto, but I think there's also voices that have put out there in the industry, they're concerned with long term keto. But if you did it for a short period of time, for a few months, it could be all you need to repair your relationship with food. But I like my carbs. Not a ton of them, but I like them. And they're very effective for lifting weights. I don't think keto is a great option for heavy strength training. Is it okay to load floor cobras with tiny plates? It can be. It can be. If you have perfect form and you're doing 15 reps solid without weights, you can add like 1 pound plates or 2 pounds, really light. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it. Travis on Facebook, I almost always find myself craving meat when I'm hungry and virtually never crave anything different. Is that strange or odd? No. No, it's not strange or odd. It's just you're a human and you like meat. I mean, hopefully you're getting quality. Hopefully you're getting quality meat. But I mean, your body will crave what it likes, and people like meat. People like steak. People like those things. Now remember, everyone's different. Some people can metabolize and can digest meat very, very effectively, and some people can't. Some people are very good with higher fat diets. Some people are not. That's why I'm saying if you pursue an elimination and you determine which foods your body really likes and you react well to, maybe you find out that you're not good with tons of fat in your diet. Maybe you just don't like them. You're not going to adhere to that way of eating. Maybe it's just not right for your body. I want you to eat real foods. I want you to focus on the quality of the food that you are eating. Then your nutrition lifestyle, if you want to pursue ketosis or paleo or vegetarian, that's on you. That's your personal preference. But then when you do that, you'll be making better choices with, in that realm, in that lifestyle. You'll be making better choices on your animal products. You'll be making better choices with your carbohydrates, with your fiber intake. You're not going to be going after these meal replacement shakes and all these powders and pills. You'll be making better decisions because you learned from the elimination process. What exercises strengthen your thoracic spine muscles? Floor cobras. Most exercises work your upper traps, lats, and lower back, but targeting lower traps has been a struggle. You could do scapular depressions. It's hard to explain, but you put your arms up, you grab the bar, arms straight, and just do the depression portion of your shoulder girdle. And floor cobras are fantastic. And you can do those at home anywhere without weight. You could also do wall angels. Those are fantastic too. And you can do them on the floor. Fuck, now I want some fatty ground beef. Yeah. Project Get Paul Strong. I cut out bread and feel far better for it. Respect. Good shit. I tend to overdo it, Trisha, on Facebook. I tend to overdo it and get very sore. They won't make it, then we'll make it to the gym for several days after. En route to the gym for legs, roughly how many exercises per training session? Depends totally on your experience and your training split. I'd just be literally just giving you a random fucking number that would be worthless to you. I don't know what you have been doing. I don't know what overdoing it is for you. So I can't even fathom how many exercises per training session. I couldn't even give you a remote answer because I have no idea. I don't know anything about what you've been doing. But if you tend to overdo it, here's your answer. Do what you would normally do and stop earlier. A lot of times when I go to the gym, lately I've been stopping before I feel done and I still get really sore. I'm like, good. Like, I don't want to be crippled sore anymore. I don't want to be destroyed anymore. It's not a good way to live. It stiffens you up. It fucks your mobility. Did you attend university? And if so, what did you study? I have a degree in exercise science, and I've held the top certifications for like a decade. I let a couple. I let the big ones. I still have my degree and other certifications. I let the big ones expire because all they want is just more money to give me bullshit information. It's a business. Once you get certified, unfortunately, if you want to work in a gym, they're going to require you to have the active certification, CPR, and such. If you're not, you need to acquire knowledge. It's great to have an active certification, but what does that really mean? You can be continuously learning. Those things were more important before the internet, before information was just at your fingertips and you can find the latest research on PubMed. You can look it up yourself. You can get your own access so you can have all the latest research. So I know how to read research studies. I know where to access proper information. And, you still have to sift through bullshit. Even studies are very inaccurate oftentimes. But to pay for CEUs and to pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fucking dollars a year to fill out quizzes, to just pump money into their pockets, I don't need their approval to know what I'm talking about, especially after all my years of experience. I've taken your fucking tests. I've taken that shit. I've done it. I know what you want me to know, and I know what's bullshit. I know what's applicable, and I have experience in the field. It's like you acquire this knowledge, and then I have to keep on paying you to have the knowledge. Fuck out of here. Well, that's the thing. If you want to use their letters, all right, then you play by their rules. However, aside from that, it's fucking worthless. That's the thing. Just because you're certified doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. I've been around so many personal trainers that have certifications and they don't know their ass from their elbow. No joke. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So a certification does not give you knowledge, does not give you command, and it certainly does not give you the ability to pass this information on properly and effectively to other people. That's when you rip your clothes off and be like, look, here's your answers. Look at my nips. Here's my answer. How do you cook your steak and bacon if not frying? Oh, you said air frying. Someone said air frying. In a pan? I cook it in a pan. Just lower heat. I don't burn it. I think someone was asking, I was talking about frying, air frying. Someone, I guess one of those like air fryers. I guess you put it in like a new wave oven or some shit. I don't know. I'm just not fancy with my food prep. I'm not fancy with that shit. That's what I was saying before. I'm not fancy in terms of, I try this way. I saute it some days and I cook it this way. No, I fucking cook my food. I get it done so I can eat it and go do shit. I got stuff to do. You all have stuff to do. Once you get on the right nutrition path and you're eating the foods that work for your body, and you learn what time of day and how your schedule can be to optimally prep your food and have it ready, when you're like on that flow and you're on your fitness flow and you kind of have that routine on lock, when you go to work or you get your shit done, you go to the gym before or after, you come home, you make your meals. Once you get on that rhythm, you just got to keep on going. A lot of people fall out of that rhythm. If you stay on the rhythm, you're fine. Stay on the rhythm. Just find where you have that sweet spot and lock it in and just keep on going. Because if you find your rhythm, you just have to be consistent. It's consistency. I don't know, Jacob. Maybe. We'll see. We don't need to go sifting through research studies. That's not fun shit, bro. And there's no real way to sift through the bullshit. That's a whole constant. That's a lot of work. It's not that easy just to be like, hey, here's how you read. It's very technical shit. I've talked about some of that stuff in previous master classes, but I doubt we'll go into something like that. But you never know. We're talking about steak. Everyone's getting hungry. One of the things about studies is you have to be very aware of like statistics and medical terminology and how to read graphs and how to compare and understanding what abstracts explain and, inter-rater reliability. And there's a lot of different aspects that, you have to understand what the studies are going for, who's funding them, what's the population size, A lot of times they're studying something very, very specific in a very, very controlled environment. With nutrition studies, a lot of the loopholes are that it's self-reported, where the people in the study are telling the people running the study what they ate, and they're just self-reporting, so it's not accurate. And a lot of times when a study gets debunked or gets thrown out or isn't used, on face value, you might refer to it. On face value, you might, put that in an article or write a blog about it. Everyone's like, oh my God, fats are good. Oh my God, fats are bad. Oh my God, carbs are the enemy. Oh my God, carbs are great. Oh my God, this. However, how they achieved the information, how they gathered the information just gets swept under the rug because it was funded. It's a biased funding for the research or the sample size or the method of reporting, the method of acquiring the data was really shoddy, or the sample size, the population was tested on 10 fucking people. So it's just very, very, there's the subtleties you have to read between the lines. But we can go over some content. I'm open to it. I know everyone is different, but I'm just curious. Do you work on hypertrophy? Sure. Building muscle? Yeah, that's what we do. Progressive overload, drop sets? Yep. Or just do an abundance of variety between lifting. Those are two separate things. A variety between lifting, mobility, and yoga. It's not variety, it's consistency. And hypertrophy comes from building muscle. Progressive overload and drop sets can overload the muscles, and hypertrophy would be the result. Madeline, I try to cook healthy for my family. The last month, I was shocked to find out how many takeaways the people I know eat. Takeaways? We may be once every 3 months. What's a takeaway? You mean take out food? Like take out? Is that what people call it? Takeaway? Is that like getting delivery food? Takeaway. Interesting. Takeaway is like something that you learn from a conversation. Oh, my takeaway from this class, my takeaway from this podcast. I never heard it referred to that as takeout. That's cool. Are you from the UK or Australia or something? Sounds like a UK thing. Fast food. Cool. Nice. I like that. Takeaway. Well, anyway, fam. Thank you so much for joining for this Q&Anus. I hope you got some good info and some feedback. Cool questions. We got some recipes. We got people talking about steak. I think everyone just kind of got hungry. Like, oh shit, now we got to eat. A lot of these questions some of these questions were vague, I know, but there's always a good answer. I have a lot of content because this was I think a little bit more of a nutrition biased Q&A today. And I have a lot of content here on the podcast based around the elimination diet and discussing it. I'm actually posting a video on YouTube. It's probably it's this week. What day? Monday, Tuesday, something like that. It will be something about nutrition, elimination diet. And I talk about dieting. I talk about nutrition. So just keep an eye out for that. And there's going to be a lot more content, and we'll talk more about it in more depth. Some of the questions, it would be too long of an answer. So sometimes I just can't go in as much depth as would require, but there's a lot of episodes here that refer to elimination diet, nutrition in the title and in the description. So go on and check out the podcast, check out some previous episodes, because especially this year, since January, we've done a ton of nutrition episodes, a ton of nutrition content. So you can learn a lot if you go back into some of those previous episodes. And for, of course, those of you that want to join Swole X and you've been looking at the memberships and thinking about joining our fitness fam, remember that you do get guided through the elimination process. You do get all the takeaways. You get all the stuff that you need to go through the elimination diet properly, to determine your optimal nutrition lifestyle. And also we have a growing recipe archive, plus the community. We're always discussing recipes and posting what we eat and helping each person, right, that has specific questions on their nutrition fine tune and kind of hone in. So if you're looking for that, Swole X is amazing for you if you want to apply this, or you can just go through some previous episodes and check it out. But you can find out more about memberships at swolenormousx.com. all the programs on nutrition over there, yoga classes, mobility, all that stuff. And there's also the Gain Train blog where you can check out some workouts and shit already. And we'll be here tomorrow for episode 1088. Enjoy tonight's episode of Game of Thrones. We didn't really talk about it today, but it's just kind of, what else is there to say? It's just going to be a lot of death, a lot of shit going down, and I'm excited for it. So thank you so much for joining me for episode 1087 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast. In the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose, your boy Papa Swole, out.